Hey there, it's Lacy J from Space Bear Media, the makers of Lost in My 40s. Did you know that you can go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, including our weekly video pre-shows, where your hosts ponder ethical questions related to the week's episode and answer some fun questions just for, well, fun. Speaking of fun, if you have it thanks to our content, please consider rating or reviewing Lost in My 40s on your favorite app, or recommend us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello. This is it, guys. We've made it to the end of season 1. Lost in My 40s, episode 25, Exodus part 3. Again, an ensemble cast. And again, Derek is going to lead us through the ending of season 1. But first, Ben's going to update us on the power rankings that have not changed in 5 weeks.
They did change, actually. There was a change last time.
All right.
Yeah, the top has not changed. We've still got Kate, 166 points, Locke, 145, Dr. Bronze, 133, Shannon at the bottom of the barrel at a negative 113, that's where she will stay, I believe. And Ethan in second, and then Arzt overtaking Boone.
Right. So we'll have to see at the end of this episode, will we have 2 minor characters in the bottom 3? And will Locke or Jack manage to catch Kate? Derek, take us through the end of season 1.
All right. The episode begins with Jack, Kate, Hurley, and Locke, the Dynamite group. They're walking through the jungle when they hear some kind of sound. It sounds like a rattlesnake. And then Jack sees a small puff of black smoke moving through the jungle and looks at Kate. And she looks back at him and says, "Yeah, I saw it, and we've got to get out of here." So as they move away, there's a shriek. Then there's like a moment of like silence. And then black smoke appears and trees start flying out of the ground. Hurley and Kate take... Yeah, I mean, they're just like, bam, right out of the ground. And Hurley and Kate take off running, and Jack drops his backpack and runs. Locke also takes off his backpack, but instead of running, he turns and starts walking towards the smoke with a slight grin on his face. Jack calls after him and starts following him towards the monster. Locke is slowly walking around the jungle, I guess looking for it, when it appears next to him, taking out a tree.
It just like yanks a tree out of the ground right fucking next to him.
I thought it was supposed to be to the ground.
I thought it was supposed to be defending the island, not deforesting it.
Yeah, it was a security system. So Locke gets knocked to the ground, and the camera cuts like to the monster's perspective, showing Locke lying on the ground in amazement. Like he has that grin, like wow. But as it gets closer, his expression turns more to terror, and then the screen cuts to black, and we get the Lost title screen.
It's a great opening. It's a great opening, but you can see it on his face where at first he's like just, yes, what is this? I want to know. And then
finally,
something changes his perspective right before it goes to black. I think it's great.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't hope after all. Oh wait, that's in the hatch.
No, that's in the hatch.
He looked into the face of the island, and he saw Randy douchebag nations there.
Oh no. Yeah, it's actually hell, and he's going to have to deal with Randy douchebag nations forever.
It's like, yeah, you're going to have a Caesar cut lording over you until the end of time.
Oh, my God.
So after the title screen, Locke gets up and starts to run away from the monster. It gives chase, making all sorts of mechanical noises, and finally catches him, grabs him, I guess, by the feet, and starts dragging him down a path, and deeper into the jungle. Maybe farther than 5 kilometers. So Jack gives chase and is able to grab Locke just before the monster pulls him down into this hole. And Jack is holding on to Locke for dear life when Kate arrives And he tells her that he needs the dynamite. So she takes off her pack because he was supposedly carrying it to get it. But Jack tells her, no, it's in his pack and to, retrieve it.
Oh, Jack.
God,
yep, good old
damn
Jack.
it. I mean, I appreciate he's protective of her, but God damn it. Women can carry dynamite.
No, she couldn't, apparently, because she ran.
She didn't take it off?
She did run.
Right.
She did run.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
In this whole scene, I don't think any of this shit is necessary, because if this thing pulled Locke down into this hole, he'd just pop up through a fucking another one. That's
how Locke's been traveling the entire time.
That is his
like
MO.
whack-a-mole?
The only reason why this scene is any different is because somebody else sees it happening. Normally, he gets pulled down these things and he just boing pops up someplace else. That's just his MO, man.
Yeah, that's why he pops up. Yeah, hey,
exactly.
Coffee in a box.
Exactly. Hey, guess what I found down there in the caverns with the monster? Coffee.
Derek, continue.
Okay, so while Kate is going to retrieve the dynamite from Jack's pack, Locke tells Jack just to let him go and that he will be all right. So Kate comes back with the dynamite and, tells her to throw it into the hole, and she does, and it explodes. And you see all this black smoke come out of the ground, float around for a bit, and then it disappears. And so
it
Kate,
screams.
Yeah, it makes all kind of those noises.
Yeah, like
Sounds like when they put in Tremors, when they blew up the graboid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. It is what it sounds like.
So Kate and Jack drag Locke out of the hole, but Locke doesn't look too thrilled that he was saved by them. So we cut to the raft, and Michael shows Jen the words that Son wrote down for him to learn English, and Jen is able to say words like starboard, aft, port, sail, and eat. And Michael tells him how lucky he is to have Son, and that the rudders, he fixes the rudder while telling him that. And then Michael gives the watch back to Jen, saying that it is yours. Like he puts it in his hand and says yours. But then Jen hands it back to him and just says you. I thought it was a
sweet
pretty
moment.
Cool scene.
Yeah, it was a very good scene.
Especially because they nearly killed each other over this thing.
Over that damn thing, yeah.
You think about this, and this is, I know it's a little cheesy, but there's a symbolism here with Jin repairing the rudder. Him sort of like, he and Son sort of repairing their relationship is sort of like his rudder, if you think about it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good catch.
So then
it's not all dick jokes with me, so I just wanted, there are deeper things happening here. I just want you to let you know.
You
said
deeper.
Dick joke.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. You people are dirty. Jesus.
35% of the time.
Trying to have a tender moment with y'all.
Hey, that's dirty.
No, it's not. Oh my God. Tender? God, I'm just trying to cover you with my jism. There we go. See?
Yeah.
There you go.
There's better.
That one was less subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
No,
so we cut to Claire, and she is, of course, very sad because Aaron is missing. And Son offers her some tea, and at first she refuses, but then she takes it and tells her that Aaron is a beautiful name. And Claire says she doesn't know what Aaron means, because I think Son asked her that. And Son says that they'll bring him back because Charlie said he would.
The scene reminds me of
that's how things work.
I love it's the scene in Pulp Fiction where she's like, Butch, what does it mean? It's like, I'm American, baby. Our names don't mean shit. Obviously, she's Australian, but same kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So we cut to Charlie, and he's running through the woods with Saeed still. And they come across a white blanket, and Charlie goes to pick it up despite Saeed telling him to wait, which, we know what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
And the blanket had just a piece of wood in it, in which it triggers a trap, which is a net filled with rocks that opens up above Charlie, and several of them hit him right in the head.
Well, he very, smartly looks directly up at the weapon coming at his face.
Yes, that's what you do.
Yeah.
So Charlie is laying on the ground bleeding really bad from a deep cut, and Saeed tells him that he has to go back. And Charlie says no. he is not. And that Saeed was a soldier. What would he do if he was wounded like this? And he's not going back without that baby. So Saeed takes the gun. And I thought at first, was he going to just put him out of his misery?
I know.
So no, he takes one of the bullets out and disassembles a bullet, takes the gunpowder and sprinkles it all over the wound. It kind of, got it in the wound, but also on other parts
all over
of Charlie's
face. I was like, you're going to clean that up a little bit before you do what you're going to do here, man?
Exactly.
Right,
That's the first thing I was thinking. Real close to his eye.
Had
seriously.
he actually done that, like lit that the way he put that on his face, Charlie would have lost his eye for sure.
Oh,
yeah. He could have gone back to the Black Rock and been One-Eyed Willie.
Yes, One-Eyed Willie.
Wow, yeah. I don't think we've had a Goonies reference yet.
I think we have.
I think we did earlier.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah, I think we had a Tremors reference earlier, too. But Tremors is one of the best movies ever made, so it deserves multiple.
Yeah,
Honey,
I agree.
She just made that reference like 5 minutes ago.
And I think we had talked about it before.
Previous episode.
Yeah, it was 5 minutes ago. Okay, gotcha.
Hey, Lacy, take another hit.
Yeah, she said she wasn't going to be as high this time. Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Yep. So after he sprinkles it all over Charlie's face, he lights it to cauterize the wound and stop the bleeding. And boy, Charlie lets out this like primal scream.
It hurt me to hear that. That was intense sound that he made.
Probably did the trick, though.
Oh, yeah. It works.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when they stick the hot piece of metal into the fire and then stick it on the wound.
Exactly.
Kind of concept.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
Yeah.
All of that is terrible.
Pain. So after all of that, we actually cut to the first flashback, and it's a pretty lighthearted flashback. So Hurley is sound asleep and snoring, and he wakes up and notices that his alarm clock and the lamp are not working. And he looks down and he sees that the plug is just like fried. It's burned.
This is my favorite flashback of the season, by the way.
Yeah, this is pretty funny.
Oh, yes.
I love it.
So good. Yeah. So
it's it's one of the only flashbacks that happens that isn't like, oh, it ended and this shit's dark. It's like this one, we all know that once he gets on the plane, shit goes wrong, but this is one of the ones that literally
dark,
like it's on.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
He makes it to the plane. It's going to crash.
He makes it to the plane. Like this entire thing is on an upward trajectory if we take it like without any other context.
Sure.
Like, right. Every other episode or every other flashback we see, it ends up being a series of down notes, no matter whose flashback it is. This one is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So we got some upbeat music starts playing, and he races out of his hotel room with his 2 bags because he can't miss his flight. He gets to the elevator, and when it opens, it's full of people, so he decides to take the stairs. And then it kind of cuts back to the elevator, and you see Charlie in there yelling, "Some of us have a flight to make."
And he's all running from the cracked out.
Oh, yeah, the crazy half-naked blonde.
Groupie. Yeah.
Rode hard and hung up wet.
Whoa!
So he runs out of the hotel and into a car, and of course, as you would know it, the car just breaks down on the way to the airport. But he appears to be close to the airport because you can see this plane fly real low overhead. So he decides, just to run the rest of the way. And so by the time he makes it to the airport, he's pretty much drenched in sweat, and he slams his passport down on the counter. And you can tell he's agitated. I think he's like tapping his finger and tells the agent to hurry up. But then she tells him that he has to purchase 2 seats. And he goes, "Well, I didn't have to do it on the flight to Australia." And she says, "Am I going to have to weigh you, dear?"
Yeah, what?
Wow. Yeah. This woman's a bitch. Like, there's a nice way to say that. And she steered well clear of that.
Oh, yeah. So he ends up paying for the second seat because he can obviously afford it. And she tells him, okay, after all this, she tells him, "Oh, well, you're actually in the domestic terminal. You need to go to the international terminal."
Yeah, after all that, why?
She knew he was flying to America.
I know Hurley's a nice guy, but I would have paid good Australian currency to watch him grab her head and just headbutt her ass. Just break her nose right there and then
body slam her.
Yeah, exactly. He just goes, "Hugo Reyes, bitch." Bam.
Wow.
Who we really need is the Minister of Forestry and Agriculture.
Right. Oh, yeah. And fisheries. Let's not forget the fisheries.
Yeah, and fisheries. He can headbutt her.
Yeah, exactly.
So the music starts back up, and he makes his way through the airport into the correct terminal. He cuts into the security line, but the security guard sends him to the back of the line because that's what they always do. And then he finally makes it through security, and he's running, and there's this old guy on a scooter, and he stops the old guy and says, "Hey, can I buy your scooter?" And he offers him money, and eventually the old guy agrees to $1,600.
16.
Say that every time I see this scene, for some reason, I imagine that old guy on the scooter being who's the guy who wrote the Marvel comics?
Stanley.
Yeah, I can just see that, like, I don't know if it was a Marvel
this is his
thing,
moment,
then
and
that would be his moment.
Yeah,
Right.
I always just picture this old guy as Stanley.
That's funny.
So he finally makes it to the gate, which I noticed was gate 23, using that scooter. And just as they close the door, and he's out of breath, and he begs the gate agent to let him on. And she finally does, after he gives a little story, telling him that it is his lucky day.
So
and
funny.
He picks her up, gives her a nice bear hug.
A big old sweaty bear hug.
She has to go change her uniform afterwards.
Oh, yeah, it's drenched.
Yeah.
So we're back on the island, and Hurley is they're walking through the jungle, and he keeps repeating the lottery numbers over and over while carrying a torch that came out of nowhere. So they didn't have torches earlier.
I know. They literally
have torches.
They're like the we talked about it in one of the previous episodes in Jumanji. It's like Kevin Hart's character is just pulling fucking torches out of his backpack constantly. Here you go. Here you go.
It's like
I made a comment in an earlier episode too about how people on these shows just magically know how to make torches out of nothing.
Seriously.
And they're really good-looking torches, too.
Seriously.
They grow.
Professionally made, yeah.
They actually grow wild, like 5 kilometers inland.
Inland, yes. That's right. That's where the torch trees and the...
that's where the black smoke is coming from, because they're lighting the torches there.
Yeah. And that's what,
exactly.
That's where the shoe patch is as well.
Yes, because they don't have a cobbler.
Right.
So Kate asks, what did you say? And Hurley says nothing. And then she says, well, I thought I heard 23. And Hurley asks, well, does that mean something to you? And she says, yes, the reward for her capture was $23,000. And then she asks Hurley, does it mean something to him? And he lies and says, it's just a number.
It's a number of chromosome pairs.
Yes.
In DNA.
And so Locke and Jack are ahead of them, and Locke says they shouldn't be so close together. And then Jack asks, well, what happened at the hole, and why did Locke believe the monster wasn't going to hurt him? And Locke says he was being tested, and Jack scoffs at that. Locke then says, that is why they don't see eye to eye, because Jack is a man of science, and Locke is a man of faith. And Locke doesn't believe that it was an accident that they crashed here with barely a scratch, and that they were brought to the island for a purpose. And Jack asks, like most people, who brought them here? And Locke says, the island, and that it isn't an ordinary place, and that the island chose Jack too, and it is destiny. Jack asks if he talked to Boone about destiny, and Locke replies, Boone was a sacrifice that the island demanded.
Locke's going further and further off the fucking rails, man. This is where I love Locke earlier, but the more he gets into this like clannish or like cultish sort of, I get the willies when I see him now.
See, I'm so the opposite. I love Locke's character because I think like in real life, I'm Jack. I'm the skeptic. I am
too, big time.
Yeah, I don't believe in anything without proper evidence. So, but Locke, like, I guess maybe that's it. That's the fantasy for me, to sort of indulge in that, which when I wouldn't do it in real life. Like, I'd follow him. If I was on that island, I'd follow Locke.
You drink the Kool-Aid?
I would, apparently.
Yeah.
Or the coffee?
Yeah.
So he says that Boone's death started a chain of events that has led them down the path that will end at the hatch. And Jack says that he doesn't believe in destiny, but Locke says, yes, you do. You just don't know it yet. Yeah, he does sound like the cult leader there.
Yeah, he totally does.
So we flash back to Locke is sitting in his wheelchair as people with walkers pass him to board the plane. And the same gate agent who had to have changed her uniform, or maybe it was before Hurley made it. Well, actually, it had to be before Hurley because they had closed the door.
Right.
Says the special wheelchair that they used to board the plane is missing. I never heard of a special wheelchair. It looked like I've seen people board on wheelchairs, and it looks like a normal wheelchair. So
that's why I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What, you can't locate it? What?
No, you guys obviously haven't traveled to Australia.
They have special wheelchairs. Yeah.
I see.
Something. Fuck, who knows?
So another gate agent appears, and he's a bulky guy, and it offers to carry him, and they do so, and they placed him in his seat, and told him to use the call button if he needs anything. And then Locke takes out the safety card, but drops it, can't reach it, and he just kind of looks back ahead and sighs.
I imagine
tough scene.
How the hell is he supposed to get to the bathroom? He's on like a 20-hour flight.
I don't know. I wondered that as well.
I just kept thinking when they were trying to take him on the plane, and the gate agent was like, "This is not exactly what we meant by carry on."
Oh my god!
So the dynamite group finally reaches the hatch with their torches, and Locke tells Hugo, he calls him Hugo, to take the extra sticks back a couple hundred yards. He says, Hurley says, me? And says, okay, got it. And he takes the pack, asking for a flashlight, because it's actually the first smart, what they've been dealing with the dynamite, because he says a torch and dynamite doesn't make a whole lot of sense to him.
Yeah, but yet they're all holding torches at this point.
So he's like the first one to realize, well, wait a minute, after, walking 5 kilometers. So Locke tells Kate to run the fuse while he and Jack set the charges. So now we're on the raft. Walt is sleeping while Sawyer is wanting to check the radar, but Michael says that they need to save the battery. Sawyer says that, they're supposed to check every hour, and so Mike turns it on. I think he calls him Mike. He's not using his nicknames anymore.
Yeah.
No.
So they talk about Walt and how Michael has the patience of a saint, and that Sawyer would have shown him the back of his hand if he acted that way. And so Michael asks Sawyer, is that what his father did to him? And Sawyer says he never had a chance because he shot himself in the head when he was 8.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know. That's just kind of like, whoa.
Well, what's fucked up is in a child abuse situation, by 8, they probably beat the shit out of you already.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Seen the back, the front of his hand, the belt, everything else.
Yeah.
No, I just meant yikes, as in that was not the response Michael was expecting. And sure, you'd be a little taken aback if that was what you heard.
Yeah.
So Michael asks Sawyer, why does the guy who only cares about himself wants to risk his life to save everyone else, and says that there's only 2 choices, you're a hero or you want to die. And Sawyer says he is no hero, and then the radar starts to beep, and Michael says there's something out there.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Yeah. Beep. Oh, there's something there. Beep.
It's another tree trunk.
There's another thing that they say at the time, where this is sort of like the Danielle 5 kilometers inland thing, where Michael says that they're 15 miles out now. It's fucking dark.
Yeah, how the hell does he know that?
Is he keystering a GPS? Like, how the fuck does he know exactly where they are?
Yeah, because when they look out, it's to the horizon.
Black.
It's nothing but water. Yeah,
maybe he knows how to navigate by the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure he does.
How far you are.
He's an ancient Polynesian fucking crossing the Pacific.
But even still, navigating by the stars would just tell you what direction to go. It doesn't tell you how far you are from the island.
Yeah.
That's true.
Unless his eyes could somehow actually figure out the parallax, and his brain could do all those computations.
Maybe he has a sextant.
Wow. Isn't that a sextant?
Ew.
Taint. Oh, no. Not the
taint. Taint likely.
God.
So, back on the island, Saeed and Charlie approach the fire that is causing the black smoke, so we finally get to see it. And nobody is there. and Saeed notices that there's no footprints or tracks around it. But they hear a baby crying and start telling Danielle to come out, which she finally does with Aaron. And she said she just wanted her Alex back in exchange for the baby.
I have to ask another question. When they came up, these burning logs, they were on a beach, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck is that 5 kilometers inland?
I don't know if she ever really said inland. She just said 5 kilometers, I thought. And
She said
added the inland.
She said 5 kilometers inland, I
I
thought.
thought she did too, but whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she... yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense. But it sure looks cool.
Here we go. 2 episodes ago, she and the baby were only together a week when a pillar of black smoke 5 kilometers inland appeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is that my timeline or the actual show? I could have made that up too.
Or maybe that original black smoke was inland, and this is
a different black smoke. Yeah, that's true. I guess there's
Could be
nothing
that.
saying it was lit at the same place.
Yeah.
It's a really cool looking structure, though. And I don't know.
And it burns an awful long time.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but it almost looks like 3 tree trunks kind of crisscrossed, and then a big. What even is burning? It looks like a giant piece of coal, but I'm sure it's not.
All I know is getting it up there would take some massive upper body strength.
Yeah. How
so
did he put that together?
I mean, at this point, they're starting to they're misdirecting us away from what the ending is actually going to be.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, there are some clues here that Danielle could not have built that structure by herself.
Yeah.
Because remember, Ethan had like some superhuman strength.
Yeah.
He sure did.
There's some serious Easter Island shit going on here.
Yeah, well.
So, Saeed eventually gets Aaron from Danielle and gives him to Charlie. And he accuses Danielle of starting the fire herself, and there's no others, and that she's just crazy. A sobbing Danielle says she heard them and that they said that they were coming for the boy, and Charlie calls her pathetic, just like he was called by that half-naked blonde.
Yeah.
In a previous episode.
Yeah.
Well, in this moment, Danielle is kind of pathetic. I mean, it's just really sad.
Sobbing and blubbering and
she's like got snot running down her face.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just sad when you think about the trauma that she went through losing Alex and how in some crazy way she thought that this would remedy it. And it's just sad to see how devastated she is still after 16 years, I guess is what I'm saying.
Another thing I'll point out here is we talked in the last episode about Charlie starting shit with people he can't possibly win fights with. He did it to Sawyer. He went to Saeed, and Saeed just grabbed him by the throat. He says you're pathetic to a woman with a gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
A crazy woman with a gun.
Yeah. Charlie is poking the bear, and in this case, this is not a polar bear, but he really, really should think a little bit more about who he's fucking with.
Well, he just has
Saeed. I mean,
yeah,
he has very strong emotional reactions to things, and he doesn't have a ton of self-control. Is what his problem is.
That's true.
So we go back to the hatch, and Jack and Locke are wiring the dynamite on the top of it. Jack connects the fuse, and they walk over to Kate, and Locke says that he will light the fuse, which is pretty short. Didn't seem too far from the hatch. So they call for Hurley, and Hurley says, just a second. And this is when Kate questions Jack why he didn't put dynamite in her pack after she drew the short stick.
Is that an innuendo?
Yes. He drew... The short stick blew up. And he said he made a judgment call, and then she gets mad about it. And he says, everyone wants me to be the leader until I make a decision they don't like.
That's a good point from Jack.
Yep. It is true.
Actually. Yeah.
So then Jack tells her that if they survive the night, they're going to have a Locke problem, which I thought was kind of interesting. And asks Kate if she has his back, and then she assures him, yes, I have your back.
Oh my God, please fuck each other. God.
Did they have more torches in this scene than they had previously? Because I counted 4 torches.
The whole place was lit up around the hatch. I mean, it was all torched out.
I feel like some of these scenes, I feel like we're watching Survivor where they're all standing there and they're just completely surrounded by tiki torches.
Well, that's how
they
the
do-
beach always looks at nighttime, too.
Yeah,
It's
I
got
know.
like 14
Yeah.
bonfires and 80 torches. It's just like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
I mean, I understand cameras don't work well in the dark, but,
Yeah.
still.
So after that, Locke then asks again, are they ready? But Hurley says, wait a second again. And as he's walking back, he stumbles and drops the flashlight. So he bends over to pick it up, and he sees the numbers on the side of the hatch.
What?
And he just freaks out. He goes,
What did you think,
no.
Derek? When you saw that, what was your thought?
Well, they had shown the numbers at the end of a previous episode on the hatch.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
knew that. It's just
Yeah.
Hurley didn't. Right.
Yeah, the
you're right,
Hurley
you're right.
seeing the numbers was like, oh, shit. And that's basically what he does. He starts, no, stop. You can't do it. He keeps saying, don't do it. And of course, he's running towards, Locke and the others. And Locke just looks at him and says, fuck you. I'm lighting this bitch.
Yeah, he
Nothing's
was very
gonna
He
stop.
literally
enthusiastic
said,
about that.
that is
Yeah.
literally what he said. They had to bleep it.
Yeah. No, but that's the
Nothing-
look on his face was.
Yeah, nothing's
yeah.
gonna
This is gonna
stop
be
Locke.
lit. Yeah.
He is getting into this hatch.
And
This
just
is
as he
his
lights it,
destiny.
Hurley says that the numbers are bad. And then after he lights it, Hurley's chasing after the fuse, trying to stomp it out.
God, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're running towards the dynamite that's
It
about
looks
to
like something out of a
explode.
cartoon.
It won't do much to steal, but it'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
It'll go arched on your ass.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
And then, but Jack tackles him to the ground, and the dynamite explodes.
There was a big kaboom.
Yep,
And
but no pieces
dynamite,
of arts.
watching explosives dynamite isn't like a big fiery explosion. When this thing goes off, there's like 4 or 5 separate pyrotechnics that go off. They're all like fiery and everything. Oh, I love it. Again, it's probably for lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, Ben.
Yeah, babe.
Got any special occasions coming up that you need a card for?
Is this a trick question?
No, it's an advertisement.
Is this about barbcards.com again?
Bingo.
So I suppose you're going to remind me that each handmade card is only $1.50.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't come with busy backgrounds or flowery poetry.
You got it. Barbcards.com offers to-the-point communication within several different categories, including our favorite, potty mouth. And if you can't find what you want, barbcards.com can do customizations.
Can I still get all of my cards for no more than $4 shipping, no matter the size of the order?
You know it. Barbcards.com has got all you need. Hey, Ben.
Oh my God, what are we selling now?
Merch.
Our merch?
Yes, sir. Shirts, coffee mugs, wine tumblers, bottle openers, stickers, magnets, and more. Your choice of product and your choice of Space Bear Media graphic from any of our podcasts.
Please tell me we're not making merch now, too.
Of course not. We'll stick to podcasts, and Pixis products will do the rest.
Thank God. I bet you have more to say, though.
Sure do. Pixis Products is a small business run by a local mom, well, local to us anyway, who needed something else to do besides being a snack bitch.
What?
A snack bitch, also known as a mom with a young child.
There's still more, isn't there?
Yepers! Pixis Products works with other small businesses for supplies, art, and other collaborations at every opportunity, including ours. In fact, Pixis Products even gave Space Bear Media our own storefront on their site. You can find us at shopspacebear.com.
Say what?
You heard me. Go to shopspacebear.com and buy something.
So we're back on the raft, and they're still listening to the beeping of the radar, and they can see something on it. Walt wakes up as this is happening, and Sawyer and Michael are arguing about if anything is out there. And Michael says that it's moving away, and Sawyer says they need to fire the flare, before it gets out of range. And just before it does, Walt says, "Come on, shoot the flare." So Michael does. And they stare at the flare going up in the air for a minute, and then the beeping stops. But as Hollywood would have it, the beeping returns, and the object starts coming back towards them. Jin tells them to be quiet as they're celebrating and stares out into the ocean, where they still can't see anything but darkness and water. But then all of a sudden, a bright light turns on, and they begin cheering and hugging each other because they're about to be rescued. And the boat seems pretty small for being so far out in the ocean, 15 miles.
Oh, did you notice that?
Yeah, very. I mean, it was almost like a dinghy or something.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's a man with a beard holding the spotlight, and there are 3 other men on the boat, standing behind him. And the bearded man asks, "What are they doing this far out here?" And Michael says they were in a plane crash, and they were stuck on an island for months, and that there's a whole group of people on the island. And the bearded man says, "Well, ain't that something?" And then,
were you suspicious right away, Derek? Were you suspicious
Absolutely.
the second you saw the size of the boat?
Saw the size of the boat, saw the guy, just something about it. And then here we go. The only thing we're going to have to do is take the boy. And Michael says,
jaw-dropping moment in the show, because you're like, holy shit, we were focused on the wrong child.
Yes.
They're here for Walt.
Yep.
It's
and
so fucking shocking. Here's what I want to know. Through this whole conversation, right up until they start gunfire, what the hell does Jin think is going on?
I don't know, because he can't understand.
Right, he can't understand. So, from his point of view, they come up, everybody's cheering, they chat a little bit, and then they just start firing guns at each other.
Yeah.
That had to, from his point of view, that had to be a little disorienting, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's probably why he jumped in the water.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, sorry, let's get to that point. But
so Michael said the exact same thing I said whenever it was said. What did you say?
Yeah.
And he repeats, "We're going to have to take the boy." And then they have a stare down, and Michael says he ain't giving them anything. And then the 3 other men behind the bearded guy step up. So something's about to happen here. And you see Sawyer reaching for the gun, but before he can, draw and shoot it, they shoot at him. I think they hit him. They don't really show, but he falls into the water. Jin jumps in after Sawyer, just as one of the guys grabs Walt. Michael fights with another of the men and is eventually knocked into the ocean himself. And he comes to the surface to sees Walt on the boat with the guys, and they're, moving away from him. And as they are, one of them throws some sort of Molotov cocktail on the raft. Of course, Michael dives back under the water just as it explodes. He comes back up, and he's left screaming, treading water, Walt's name over and over, and the raft is in shambles behind him.
You're going to get real sick of that real soon.
What? The screaming of what?
Coral. Not coral.
Right.
Not coral.
I've got one thing here is everyone, you always see these movies where people dive underwater when an explosion's about to happen. I feel like that might be the worst thing to do, because the way that sound waves travel underwater, they're conducted
compress the water.
They're going to compress the water. It'll burst your eardrums and fuck your head up. I feel like if that's going to happen, if there's going to be an explosion, you want to be above the water. I could be wrong, but if it works.
I know it works when you're getting shot, because Mythbusters showed that. The bullet hits the water, deflects it, and it slows it down so much it won't hurt you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually true.
But it's the same reason why when somebody knocks on a door, the sound travels directly through it. It's the same way you can hear sound way, way far off in the ocean, is because the molecules are closer together. So sound waves or air pressure waves, whatever, move that way. In air, it's the least dense. So it stands to reason that if you go underwater and something big happens, the pressure hitting your eardrums and your head is going to be much higher.
Wow.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I've always wondered about that when you see these movies. People jump underwater and then kaboom.
So.
Well, thanks, babe. The next time I'm in the ocean around explosions, I will tread water.
Yeah, the next time Jeremy Irons rigs up the boat to have a giant explosion on it, and you're hanging out with Samuel L. Jackson, you guys jump into the water. You'll think twice about ducking your head underneath. Yeah. Yeah,
so this scene was actually really surprising, because it was always the wrong child that we were thinking the others wanted.
It fooled the shit out of me. First time I saw it, I was just blown away. Yeah. Absolutely blown away.
They left you
It was
breadcrumbs
so
down
good.
the wrong trail for so many episodes.
So many episodes. That's
I mean,
the
I
thing.
knew these guys were bad news. I just didn't know what they were going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So after all of that, we go back to Saeed and Charlie, who returns with Aaron, and Claire is, of course, overjoyed to see her son. And she gives Charlie a hug as Shannon joins the group looking sad until she sees Saeed washing off Charlie's blood in some kind of, waterfall and runs to him. Charlie is cleaning his face and Claire sees his wound, and then the camera cuts to a bag next to him and it shows one of those Virgin Mary statues broken open with the heroin.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not
maybe.
hiding it real well. Just kind of hanging out of the
just
side
no.
of his bag, but all right.
Yeah. It's like after the last day, guys. Come on, seriously, I'm chasing the dragon. You cannot hold that against me.
I need a fucking break.
That's
We should
right.
have
Just one
broken
bump for the road.
You should have just broken the statue and taken the stuff out. That's
Yeah.
much
Right.
easier to hide.
Yeah, but now he's got the Virgin Mary staring at him disapprovingly while he does it.
Yes. You just do a line off her back.
Oh my God.
I mean, he is a Catholic, so
Yeah.
That's true. It's all about guilt with him. So
yeah.
That's
So we
every
go to,
religion, babe.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a lot of religion.
yeah. Well, when I
Yeah.
said them, I meant them as in like all. Yeah, we won't get
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. So we go to a flashback, which is actually the last one of the episode and season. And it's basically everyone boarding the flight. Claire is pushing her pregnant belly through the aisle of the plane, looking for her seat. Kate comes walking on with the marshal right behind. Sawyer comes marching on, looking angry. Jack.
He always looks that way, I guess, though, doesn't
Sadly, he was wearing a
he? Kind of
shirt.
disgruntled. Yeah.
Well, see, he might be angry he's banned from Australia forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Jack puts his bag up 2 seats in front of Locke. Charlie, with his sunglasses still on, is shoving his guitar case into some kind of tiny closet. Saeed sits down, and a white male passenger gives him the side eye. Because, it was, what,
The
3 years
Saeed
after
eye.
9/11.
Oh.
Oh,
Son and Jin are sitting together, but they're not looking at each other. Michael reaches over and tightens Walt's seatbelt. Walt doesn't look up. The marshal tightens the handcuffs around Kate's
Wait, what?
I think it's Martian. The Martian.
The Martian. He was sitting right
Yes.
next to.
Mars
Mars
Attacks.
Attacks,
I love
yes.
it.
I actually watched that a few weeks ago.
Oh, that movie's ridiculous.
Yes. The marshal tightens the handcuffs around Kate's wrists. Saeed pulls his photo of Nadia out from his front pocket and stares at it. Shannon is frantically looking through her purse until Boone hands her the inhaler. Hurley comes in nice, sweaty, and panting. He gives a thumbs up to Walt, who smiles at him. And
That's a
I remember
cute little
Michael kind of
moment.
looked down. Yeah, Michael kind of looked down like, why are you smiling at him? And Hurley then sits down in his 2 seats and puts his headphones on and starts reading a comic book. And as he folds it back, you see a polar bear on it.
Yeah.
Claire gets help from Arts to help put her bag up. I guess the only useful thing he's done in the entire show.
Seriously.
And then Jack, which I thought was interesting, he nods at Locke, who kind of gives him a half smile back.
Yeah, it's an interesting moment between the two of them.
I've always
So-
kind of wondered, why did nobody who survived the crash see Locke get carried onto the plane from his wheelchair?
They carry those.
Well, they carried him on
They use
first,
on
right? It was
first.
empty.
Yeah, these are the first, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
remember the
get,
seats are mostly empty.
so there's nobody on the plane to see that. I'm sure some would
No, but
be
there were a
around the
whole bunch
gate.
of the passengers would have been at the gate if they were.
Well, maybe everybody who
got-
saw it died.
Well, and you've also got to think. You got to think everybody that was getting on this plane. They've had a day, a couple days of like a lot of shit going on. They're probably not paying attention to everyone that's getting
true.
on the plane. They're probably absorbed in their
I
own
usually don't.
fucked up lives.
I'm usually looking at something on my phone or,
Yeah.
talking with
Yeah.
whoever I'm with. I'm not paying attention to all the people.
Yeah, I mean it's true, but
Unless they're annoying.
again, you have to think about it. Like think of how fucked up all these people's days have been leading up to this flight.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, they have.
You know, like every single person's got
Well,
all
the
kinds of
main
weird shit
characters,
going
but
on.
there's hundreds
Yeah.
of people on the flight. It's just most of them die.
Oh, yeah, fuck them, you know? Like, yeah, exactly. The main characters have all kinds of weird shit going on, so they probably wouldn't notice somebody getting carried onto the plane. I'm just...
Yeah.
So we go back to the island, and finally, the hatch has been blown open. And the door is still laying on the hatch, and they just happen to blow the hinges only. The door's still intact.
Oh, yeah.
I know. What
wonderful,
in the hell?
wonderful demolitions expertise they've got.
God.
So Jack and Locke slide the door off, and they look down into the hatch as the camera cuts to like being inside of the hatch, and it goes down the ladder, which I think the ladder ends like halfway down, it seems. And it gets darker and darker, and then the episode and the season ends.
And this is the point where earlier in the season where they decided to cut the rope instead of just untying it. This is where it backfires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's right.
That was
now
Danielle,
they don't.
though.
Now you don't have a
That
length
was
of
Danielle.
rope that can do that. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
This scene, the ending of this, it gives me goosebumps every time.
awesome.
Is you?
Oh, it
you're-
was amazing. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's-
holy shit. Like I
That's
said, I'm
great.
glad. I guess it's better I didn't watch it when it first came out because that'd be a long 8 months waiting for it to come back.
Yeah.
All right, so today, last fun facts of the season, we are going to learn what the name Aaron means. This will also tie into the next episode, 26, our special episode. The themes of his name, or where his name comes from, I should say, feeds into one of the theories that people had when the show first aired. So, Aaron is a Hebrew name spelled Ahron, meaning exalted or strong, teacher, or mountain of strength. In Arabic, it means messenger. The name appears in the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah. In the Torah, Moses' brother is named Aaron. It's his brother and his right hand. His name is Aaron. The origins of the name actually go all the way back to Egypt, but it's an unknown Egyptian history. I'm not sure how we know it comes from that region, but we don't know specifically why, apparently, at least what I found on the interwebs. So in the Bible, as Moses' brother and right hand, Aaron was installed as the first high priest of the Israelites, and God decreed, I guess, or promised Aaron that his descendants would form the first priesthood. The English version of the name, which is the Aaron that we all know, gained popularity during the Protestant Reformation. And in the United States, the name peaked in 1994 as the 28th most popular. In 2020, it dropped to 63rd. So, all the parts about the Bible, the biblical stuff, is what we will talk about more in the next episode. But since Claire said she didn't know what the name meant, I thought we would find out for her. And that is what the name Aaron means.
We're going to talk about the burning bush, too.
That's 15 years on an island with no penicillin.
Yes.
Oh, yikes. Let's start with Christy. Dear, how about your best and worst moments?
I think blowing the hatch was one of my best moments. I'm really glad that they were able to do that, even though they shouldn't have been able to with dynamite or whatever. So that's going to be exciting. My worst moment was when the others took Walt.
Yeah.
That's just, terrifying for him and for the guys on the raft who are now in the ocean.
With
That
a
was it.
destroyed raft.
It's just such a shocking moment when you realize that you've just been going down the wrong path for such a long time. I also had others take Walt as a worst moment, but I had Danielle's heartbreak as a close second. That scene on the beach is just gut-wrenching. My best moments, I have 3 this week. I really couldn't decide. One of them is the look on Locke's face in the beginning as the smoke monster is kind of like bearing down on him. Today is your lucky day, when she says that to Hurley. I love it. And then the last moment of the season, just that descent into the hatch took my breath away the first time I saw it.
Yep.
Derek, how about you? Best and worst?
Well, the best moment as far as like, I had 2 of them. One was, of course, the hatch, finally getting that thing open. But like the funniest moment for me was Hurley's saga of getting to the airport and getting on the plane.
Yeah,
I thought that was just so funny.
It's just the best flashback. It absolutely is so funny.
Yeah, I agree. It's the best flashback of the season so far, or show so far. And then my worst moment, of course, was Walt getting kidnapped. Just the whole, I mean, I'm sure he's scared shitless, and kidnapped 15 miles offshore.
Exactly.
Well,
15 miles
we don't
offshore.
know it's 15 miles. I mean,
Could be 14 and a half. Who knows?
Yeah.
Ben, how about your best and worst?
My favorite moment was after Hurley paid the guy for the scooter, and then they show him on the scooter just kind of bobbing and weaving through the airport. That made me laugh. I think the worst scene, which was also I enjoyed it, but it was bad, was when Saeed had to light the gunpowder on Charlie's face.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's intense.
Painful.
As far as just going into it and being like, oh, if I were in that moment, that would be the worst.
Power rankings, Christy. Final rankings of the season.
My top person is Sawyer. He tried to save Walt, at the end but he ended up getting shot off the boat, but he tried. And then my bottom total is just the boat people, all of them. I want them
Boat
dead.
full of others.
Yeah, the boat full of others. So I'm also going to kill the boat people. And I'm going to have a threesome with Sawyer and Saeed.
Oh, all right. Ben, how about yours?
Best was Hurley. Just because, I mean, come on, he's pretty fucking hilarious in this episode. The worst would be the boat full of others, though. At this point, we don't really even know they are the others, right?
True. Yeah, they never identified themselves as anything.
We suspect that, but there's actually nothing to confirm that they are the others, other than the fact that
Danielle said the others were coming for the boy, and then these people came for the boy. So that's
sure.
And they have to be on the island because they're on that little small boat.
Yep.
You're right. I mean, it's not said explicitly, but it's certainly implied. Yeah.
That's who I thought they were when whenever they kidnapped Walt, I figured they are the others.
Yeah. For this one, this is only my second threesome of the season. I'm a little more judicious in my application of this, but I'm going to just take
your slutty wife.
Yeah. I'm just going to take Kate and Son, just at the same time because, yay. For kill, my kill is a final fuck you to Randy douchebag nations.
See, that was mine last episode. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You gotta kill Randy every now and then.
Yeah. I'm trying to push him lower in the rankings.
I had my best character as Locke. Just something about his determination and final success of getting that hatch open. I love it. I also killed worst character, boat full of others, also killed them. Having one final threesome of the season, it's going to be me and Claire and Charlie because they're about to have some good sex. So I'm just going to join. Derek?
My best was Hurley, just because, I loved his flashback and all of his comments and trying to put out the fuse comically before it blew up the hatch. My worst and the ones I would kill is the boat full of others. And I would fuck Claire this episode. She needs it after, all the stress she's been through.
That sounded very rapey.
That did sound real gross.
Yeah,
She
real
really
gross.
needs this.
She needs it.
not
well,
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's gonna have Charlie and I too. It looks like I guess we're having an orgy.
Oh yeah. Wait, orgy is 5. Yeah. I see one,
Oh,
two.
we've asked. You're right. We've discussed this. Orgy is 5.
Hopefully
Okay,
everyone
well-
can get back to the caves and wash up first. Just saying.
I feel like I feel like you're having dirty sex on the island. That's just
yeah.
you're not going to be clean people.
It'd be more fun if people were a little rinsed off. I'm just saying.
All right. Ben, give us our final power rankings of the season. Who is number 1, 2, and 3, and bottom 1, 2, and 3?
Can you guys guess before I say who's top 1, 2, and 3? Who's top 1, 2, and 3?
Kate Lockjack.
There you go. Not a whole lot of surprises. Though Kate did end up with 169 points.
Wow.
Stop.
Giggity.
It's true.
Wow.
And then, Locke ended with 150 and Jack with 133. Now we've got the brother fucker and the sister fucker in first and third of last, with Shannon at 113 and Boone at negative 42. That shows you how fucking unpopular Shannon has been.
Jesus Christ.
And in the middle slot, Ethan at negative 56.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Where's Randy Douchebag Nations at?
Let's see. Where is Randy? Let me find real quick. Just a second, Randy. Randy is at negative 23.
Ooh.
Boone is at negative 42.
You guys.
Oh, Boone is. We need to kill Randy more.
Yeah.
I think we'll keep killing Randy in further seasons just for fun.
Yeah. And then Assad, it was at negative 15. So there's a couple couple overlaps there with the numbering.
Assam, you mean? Assam?
Oh,
Saeed's friend?
Assam, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. All right. Let's do some final impressions. So these final impressions are going to be just strictly this episode. We'll talk more in depth about the entire season in episode 26. So, Christy.
I mean, the finale, especially when the others took Walt, it's just absolutely mind-blowing. So I absolutely love the way that they ended the season. Total cliffhanger. And I can't wait to see what Derek thinks of episode 1, season 2.
Okay. Me neither. So my final impression, the only thing I can think at the end of this episode is, let me in that fucking hatch. Like, it's open. Are you telling me I have to wait? I have to wait to let me in that hatch.
I know.
Yeah, that too. That and where the hell is Walt? You know, what happened? Those are the two huge.
I will say, they had me fooled as fuck. When the others showed up and took Walt, I was stunned. All I can think about is let me in the hatch. But you mentioned season 2, episode 1, Christy, and I will say that for me, the opening scene of season 2, episode 1 is arguably one of the best scenes in the entire fucking show. And I'm thrilled for us to get there.
And they introduced one of my absolute favorite characters.
Oh, God. Yes.
Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite character of the entire show. So.
Yeah.
Penny for your thoughts.
No.
Oh, wow. Derek, that's going to mean something to you someday. Ben, what are your final impressions of this episode?
It's good fucking TV.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm generally a little more verbose about this, but yeah, it's good fucking TV. They leave you just wanting the next season. It's, they lead you down this trail with these breadcrumbs, and then they, just tell you at the last minute, it's like, aha, fooled you. You've gone down the wrong trail with everyone else. So, good writing. Just a great episode, a great way to end the season.
Absolutely. Derek.
Yeah, this was a great episode, and most of the time, TV shows don't really fool me, but this one got me. when they took Walt. I
Yeah.
didn't even expect that. And yes, they finally got the hatch open, because I still remember the episode when they found the hatch and how long it took to get to finally get that damn thing open. And it's, left you with a great cliffhanger, kind of, up there with, a really old show, Who Shot JR?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
the 80s, yeah.
That's dating us. I mean, we were kids when that happened.
I remember that. I mean, I don't remember. I didn't watch that show, but I remember it was a big thing back then.
Yeah, that house was not too far from where we lived, too.
Oh, South Fork, yeah.
South Fork Ranches, yeah. It was like 15 minutes from where I grew up.
It was like a Christmas party there or something.
Yeah, and it's not very
that was an
impressive when you get there.
Oh, yeah.
That was an actual house in Dallas.
It's Parker, Texas.
It's in Parker,
like east of Plano.
Yeah.
Far east of Plano.
Wow.
Yep.
It's not very impressive when you go there either.
No, it's not.
It's just,
on a TV show, it looked all fancy.
They make it look fancier than. Oh, okay.
They Hollywooded it.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like the apartment complex in Singles. I when I moved to Seattle, I was like, 4 or 5 blocks from there, and when you go there, it's like, oh, this is not nearly as cool as it looked in the movie.
Well,
it's actually kind of a shitty building, but.
So my biggest question is, I would pretty much know who the people that kidnapped Walt are, but why did they kidnap Walt? What do they want with him?
Yeah. So that's a complicated answer that will unfold over time. Guys, we did it. We got to the end of season 1. I can't believe it.
Wow.
This has been great. I'm really loving reliving this show for the first time vicariously through you, Derek. I have been waiting so long for you to find out that the others were after Walt the entire time. It's been an awesome ride this season. And we will be back in 10 weeks. May 18th. 3 new episodes are going to drop. We're going to do a season 1 recap, and then we'll have episodes 1 and 2 of season 2, where a whole lot of change happens real fast. And we are super excited. 10 weeks. We'll be back. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, my God. Our dog just farted again.
Good timing.
Seriously.
Way to end the show.
Nice send off, you filthy ass dog.
Season 1 is over.
Yep.
Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at spacebear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.